again and again and again. Grace, we appreciate all your hard work. Please convey our sincerest thanks to your staff. Thank you all, the whole staff, for your diligent work through many long days and late nights during this very trying time in our nation's history.
Well,
the chair also wishes to make a very brief statement. I would like to begin by thanking the majority leader and the Democratic leader for their support.
We knew this would happen.
To carry out ill-defined responsibilities.
We knew this would happen.
They ensured that I had the wise counsel of the Senate itself through its secretary and her legislative staff. I am especially grateful to the parliamentarian and her deputy for their unfailing patience and keen insight.
The vote was 53 to 47.
For the assistance and many courtesies that they extended.
No, I'm not shocked.
Period of required residency.
The Democrats are not shocked either.
And thank you all for making my presence here as comfortable as possible. As I depart the chamber, I do so with an invitation.
This will be a bad look on them.
By long tradition.
And it's going to hurt them in the election. That's what the Democrats wanted all along.
We keep the front row of the gallery in our courtroom open for members of Congress who might want to drop by to see an
Senate decided to roll the dice. They knew the Senate wasn't going to throw them out.
I also depart with sincere good wishes as we carry out our common commitment to the Constitution through the distinct roles assigned to us by that charter. You have been generous hosts, and I look forward to seeing you again under happier circumstances. The chair recognizes the majority leader.
I move that the Senate, sitting as a court of impeachment on the articles against Donald John Trump, adjourn.
You don't even know his name.
Without objection, the motion is agreed to. The Senate, sitting as a court of impeachment, stands adjourned, sine die.
And there it is. President Trump has been acquitted. The Senate requires a 2/3 supermajority vote to remove a president. And in this case, majorities voted to acquit President Trump of both articles of impeachment. A big historical moment. This has only happened 3 other times, one in 1868, one time in the late 90s, 1999, and today. A president has been acquitted and will not be removed from office. Wolf.
52-48 on abuse of power. Mitt Romney, the only Republican who voted in favor of abuse of power, but he voted against obstruction of Congress. The final vote was 53-47.
It has been a long process. It has been difficult and partisan. Let's talk with our experts here about what we just witnessed. And Jeffrey Toobin, let me start with you. I suppose we always knew there were never going to be 67 votes to remove President Trump from office, but it is a historical moment.
And what is unusual about this impeachment in particular is that the underlying facts are still in dispute. That wasn't in dispute with the Bill Clinton's impeachment and the whole Monica Lewinsky matter. But here, because there were no witnesses and because the House did a
new witnesses,
and the House did a truncated investigation, we are still learning what really went on between the United States and Ukraine, and I expect that will be going on for some time, which certainly there is a legal resolution of this matter here. I mean, the president is acquitted, and that's the way it's going to stay. But history's resolution is going to be is unresolved. I don't know if it's going to be different, but it is unresolved both politically and factually. What really went on here, we don't know yet.
And George Conway, Mitt Romney, the only Republican in the Senate to vote in favor of removing President Trump from office. He's talked about feeling sometimes as though he was on another universe than his Republican colleagues when the facts were presented. You're a conservative attorney, and I suspect that you have you can relate to that emotion, the idea of being in a different universe than your Republican friends.
Absolutely, and the verdict of history is going to be on Mitt Romney's side. And talking about a different universe, I was struck by, not so much the vote, which we all expected, but by Senator McConnell's speech just before the vote, where he attacked the impeachment as a violation of norms, where he said that the people who were supporting the impeachment were attacking institutions until they get their way. What universe is that from? That's Donald Trump's signature motive. It's his modus operandi. He's defending Trump by attacking the Democrats for precisely what Trump has done for 3 years, attacking people in his own government, attacking the bureaucracy, attacking his own appointees, attacking the Justice Department, attacking the entire system by which we have a trial. It is absolutely just remarkable what has been sacrificed here, in addition to the senatorial oaths, which, as I remarked earlier, mean impartial justice, which means you do the same thing, whether it's a Democrat or Republican, black, white, whatever. In addition to that, truth has taken a beating here. And reality has taken a beating here.
And I know we're going to lose you in a few moments, so I just want to ask you one other follow, which is, you think history will be on the side of Mitt Romney?
Absolutely.
How can you be confident in that?
I'm confident because the evidence was, I beg to differ a little with Jeff. I don't think the evidence was disputed in any material way. And the evidence will keep coming out. This was an investigation that hasn't gone on for very long. I mean, what scandal or what criminal investigation did you know of as only 3 or 4 months old where you know so much? And what that tells us is there's just a mountain of evidence yet to come, because not all the evidence did come out. The White House saw to it that it didn't come out. In fact, I think there was something on another network where Senator Romney said that he wanted to get an affidavit to help the White House. An affidavit.
He threw another individual. He asked the White House, can you please get affidavits from John Bolton and Mick Mulvaney, so I have some reason to believe your point of view. Provide me with exculpatory information, and they never did.
Think about damning what these men have to say if they wouldn't even provide that affidavit.
Let's go over to Caitlin Collins over at the White House. Caitlin, first of all, any reaction, any word whether or not we're going to hear directly from the President of the United States, who was found not guilty on both of these articles of impeachment?
Well, we're still keeping an eye on the president's Twitter feed. We are expecting to hear from him at some point, but when and how still seems to be up in the air. We should note that this is obviously the outcome the White House wanted, but Wolf, this is not how they thought they were going to get it. All day long, you were hearing from the president's top advisors that they believed it was going to be a bipartisan vote to acquit President Trump. And of course, you saw Mitt Romney there denying them that by voting yes on that first article of impeachment, the article alleging the president of abusing the power that he has by being president. And you heard from the Vice President Mike Pence just this afternoon, Kellyanne Conway, and even the National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien, all today predicting that this vote was going to be bipartisan. And of course, they have since been denied that, at least as it comes on the first article of impeachment. But regardless, the president will be happy with this outcome. We're waiting to see how he does respond.
Caitlin, stand by. Gloria, let's not forget, this is history unfolding, only the third time in American history we've seen something like this, a president of the United States be impeached by the House of Representatives, but then acquitted in the U.S. Senate.
And while at the outside of this, and we've all at this table lived through this for the last weeks, we have known what the final outcome was going to be.
Everybody knew what this was going to be.
Through this process,
The Democrats did this
and it was important
to hurt the Senate.
You could hear from the House managers about their case and the case they were making.
The Republican Party in the Senate will suffer for this decision.
And they brought it all there. And then you heard from the White House, and the senators sat there for hours and hours and hours without their phones, without their staff. And obviously, this was a largely partisan decision in the end. But I think the Mitt Romney decision and the speech that Mitt Romney made is something that'll go down in history. I think it is, you cannot underestimate how difficult it is for someone to go against his own party and be the only person doing it, and his own president.
A very important historic chapter closes today with those two votes. But the debate over this, we're just now going into the next chapter, which is how does it play out in a presidential election year? How does it play out with the president's mood? And we expect to hear from the president. His campaign.
Oh, Romney did the right thing, baby.
The House Speaker, of course.
He came up like gold. He's like, everybody else voting against? I'm going to be the only one to go with it. What? Yeah, baby, this finna come up. Romney, I'm back.
By the United States Senate.
double jeopardy does not apply in politics. And so as the new
People gonna forget I'm a crook.
Book, whether it's the new emails or Vivian Salam on CNN reporting on today that do shed new light on the controversies here. Nancy Pelosi in her house, Jerry Nadler saying today, the chairman of the Judiciary Committee.
This was a political move, fellas. This was a move that was put in there in place to embarrass the Senate, to help the Democratic Party when the election comes. They knew they were going to defend Trump and keep him in office. Now they're going to use this as a weapon against them to say, look at what they did, the corruption. They turned their back on all this evidence. They wouldn't allow witnesses. They knew this was going to happen. They put them in this catch-22 situation.
Today, 52 of them voted to betray that oath, and all of us.
Ooh, where they get this sister from? Okay, I see you, babe.
It'll take all